Hey guys, it's Lauren from the Express Lane, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is Ashley, and she is an employment specialist with our Red Wing office. Welcome to the channel.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm glad to be here.
So, a fun fact about the two of us is that we actually both started at Express in the exact same position, except we were in different offices.
Yep, we were both front office coordinators, or FOCs as we like to call them here internally.
So, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, the front office coordinator or FOC, as Ashley let you know, it's really an admin type position, and you get to answer phones, assist people that are walking in the door, helping out with payroll. You really just kind of become the backbone of the office to be there to help associates and clients and the rest of the team with whatever they might need.
Absolutely. I think it was a great role to start off in. You get really familiar, especially me not having come from a previous administrative background. It was a great kind of introduction into that type of role and into an office. And I got to learn a lot about the company and clients that we work with and associates too, which I'd been working with the kind of general public before that. But it was a really great introduction into a lot of different things.
It's funny that you say that because I didn't have any admin experience either when I started. Like, I actually came from client management and account management, which is obviously what more employment specialists do.
Yep.
But coming into an admin role, I definitely agree with Ashley. It was a really great way to get to know kind of how the company works as a whole, figure out how you fit into that piece of the pie, and then how all of the other roles do too.
Mm-hmm.
So, to kick things off, I would love it if you just explain to us a little bit more about the employment specialist position, because I know that some offices have their employment specialists do certain tasks, and maybe those are different tasks than other offices. So, if you could just kind of walk us through your day to day and what some of your main duties are in the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, especially one that I kind of take a lot of pride in, is I do manage the 3M account here in Red Wing. So not only the largest account for our office, but also our franchise, which, like I said, I take a lot of pride in that. So I go out twice a week. I go out Monday mornings, and then I also go out Wednesday afternoons. My Monday mornings usually consist of picking up time cards, checking in with HR, checking in with the supervisors and all of our individuals that we have working out there. Picking up time cards, bringing those back to the office for payroll. Wednesday afternoons, I'm going out and checking in with second shift. It's really nice because it gets me up out of the office, gets that movement in. And I truly believe that it helps with that, building that relationship and that connection, not only to the company, but also to our associates that are working out there too. So just having that face-to-face, I think, does a lot.
Yeah. So at what point during your time as FOC did you think, hey, I maybe want to move into this employment specialist role one day?
Yeah. So I really enjoyed my time in the front office coordinator role. I really did, but at some point, and I can't pinpoint exactly, I'll be honest, I started to get bored. I wasn't feeling challenged. I wasn't, the days were just very monotonous, come in, get my work done, and then I was just bored. So I knew at that time that it was either I need to figure out a way to move forward and to move up, so to speak, in the company, or I had to move on.
Okay.
So
It's time to move up.
it was time to move up, yes.
So once you figured out that this was the route that you wanted to go, that the employment specialist position was the job for you, how did you kind of take the next step? Did you take on additional tasks, or did you loop your general manager in to say, hey, I'm kind of thinking this is where I want to go?
Yep. So I had actually, there had been an employment specialist position open maybe about a year and a half prior to this time. That I had expressed interest in, and I did approach my general manager, and at the time she just felt that I maybe wasn't quite the best fit, which totally understandable. I having done this for the length of time that I have now, I mean, that open, honest feedback is always something that I would look for, and that's usually what I try to give too when I'm talking to somebody. So I just kind of hunkered down and just continued in the FOC role, and I feel I've always been the type of person that I want to be knowledgeable in all fields. I feel like the more things that I'm familiar with, the more things that I know how to do, or the questions that I can answer, makes me more of a versatile employee. So like I said, just kind of hunkered down and kind of paid my dues, so to speak. And then the position opened up again, and so again I approached my manager and said, hey, I would have some interest in this. And it wasn't originally for what I'm doing now. It was actually for a different employment specialist role. It would have been more on the administrative side of things.
Okay.
But I didn't want to lose out on an opportunity, so I agreed, even though I had some nerves going into it. And then shortly after I started training for that position, the role that I'm in now actually opened up. And so I was approached by my manager and kind of given the opportunity to say, you know, I want to go this way or I want to go that way. And so here we are.
I mean, that's nice too, to go from like not quite being ready to now being like, here, you can have your pick essentially. She must have really felt that you were ready at that time.
So.
So speaking of that, how long were you actually in the FOC role before you transitioned?
I was in the FOC role for probably roughly 3 years, I think. I started back in 2015 and then transitioned into an employment specialist role in 2018, I think. Something like that. I'm not good on dates, but I think it was roughly about 3 years.
About 3 years,
so,
okay.
Yep.
And what did that transition look like once it was finally time? Did you think like it went smoothly, training in somebody new? Is there anything you would have done differently in hindsight?
I mean, I think it went as smooth as it could have gone under the circumstances. So not only was I looking at training in for a new role for myself, but I was also having to train in our new FOC at the same time. So given a 2-week window of me training with the person that was in the role before me, but also trying to train, you know, my backfill too, there was times it was a little stressful, but I think it went as good as it could have, given the circumstances.
Juggle, you know, to like kind of be like, I'm so excited for my new role, but I also want to make sure that somebody else has all the tools they need. Yep,
exactly.
I know that your general manager, Christy, just celebrated 25 years with Express, which is just, oh my gosh, the most amazing accomplishment. But where do you see your career, I guess, in, you know, maybe not 25 years, but like 5 or 10 years, you know, absolutely, down the road?
Christy has been fantastic to work with. I mean, I know I truly do look up to her as a mentor, and she's helped me through, you know, a lot of things here. She's helped me grow professionally. She's helped me grow personally. She's been there for some pretty impactful times in my life. And I have told her that, you know, I see myself being here for the long haul, so I definitely do have some aspirations to hopefully grow into a manager role here within the office. I'm definitely not at the point that I was with the FOC. I mean, I'm not bored by any means. I have plenty of stuff to do every day, but I think the next step for me would definitely be just continuing with my leadership and growing into a manager role. So how did you get started in your marketing role at Express?
Well, that's a really good question, considering that my marketing role wasn't a thing yet. It wasn't even a potential role to move into at Express, but I had gone through Express as an associate, and that was such a special journey for me, and learning about all the different people in the River Falls office who I'd interacted with, and individuals in other offices that I'd interacted with at Express. And I just knew that it was a team that I really wanted to be a part of. I wasn't totally sure what that looked like. So when an admin role, the FOC role, opened up, I was like, well, here's my chance to get my foot in the door at this company that I know I want to be a part of. I'm not totally sure how I fit in yet, but I know I want to be a part of this. And I felt like I was able to pick up on things pretty quickly. A lot of things tied into tasks from previous jobs that I'd had. But one of the things that I noticed right away was that the marketing efforts were sort of spread out throughout the office. It was kind of just this like extra thing that everyone had a little piece of. There wasn't one person that owned those marketing pieces. And marketing was something that I had done a lot of through previous positions, social media management, things like that. And I was like, hey, like here's something that I already know that I'm good at, that I could help other people in the office take that off of their plate, lighten up their load. So I would say probably within the first, probably 2 or 3 months, I'd gone to my manager and I said, hey, this is something else that I would like to take on in addition to my regular duties. Is that something that you'd be open to? And thankfully she said yes.
All right. And then how long were you in the FOC role before you moved into your marketing position?
3 years. Just like you. Must be a magic FOC number if you're in the role for 3 years. But like I mentioned, the marketing position wasn't even a thing yet when I started. And it was probably about 6 months after I did start that my boss approached me and she said, hey, we might have this marketing position. She said, it is 100% hypothetical right now. No idea if it's going to happen, no idea when it's going to happen, but like somewhere down the road, is this maybe something you're interested in? And I was like, well, of course I'm interested in this. And in the meantime, I just kind of waited and just kept my head down, kept working, kept growing our marketing, adding new. I added an Instagram page for our office while I was still in our FOC role. So I really was trying to add on more marketing things as much as I could and still get my regular job done, because I totally agree with you in the sense that the FOC role is one that I feel like you kind of master relatively quickly. And it can get boring, and so you have to find ways to keep it interesting to continue to grow. So for me, that was adding more marketing things. Were there maybe days that I worked on more marketing stuff than I probably should have? Probably. But eventually it happened. I got approached by my manager and she said, hey, it's time. I think that we are going to move forward with this. Are you still interested? And I was like, well, I think you already know the answer to that. So it was probably about 6 months for when we really decided that, yep, we're going to move forward with this, to the time that it actually happened. But all of that happened around my 2.5-year mark. So by the time I actually scooted my way into that role, it was about 3 years. So, and I was really excited because it actually happened a lot sooner than I thought it was going to. I was pretty convinced that it was going to be like 4 or 5 years maybe before it happened. So the fact that it happened after 3 years, I was like, score.
All right, so let's talk about your transition into the role. Is there anything that you feel that you would do differently?
I would definitely agree with what you said. I feel like it went kind of as smoothly as it can go when you yourself are training into a new role and you're also simultaneously training someone into your old role. I loved getting to be part of the interview process and getting to sit in on and interview the individuals that would be moving into my role, because I really felt like we chose the best person for the position. And then one of the other things that I did right away was I went to work on just writing everything down, because you build up a lot of tribal knowledge in that 3 years of all these things that no one else in the office knows, but and you really want to make sure you don't forget that. You also don't want the new person coming to with questions all the time as they're learning things, because you're still learning things. So it's kind of striking an interesting balance in that respect. But I definitely think it went as well as it could have. Our new FOC is amazing, so I've been really happy with everything that she's been able to do for the office, and she's certainly been able to bring things to the role that I was never able to, and that's just been something that's really special to watch.
Awesome. All right, so now your general manager, Monica, who's one of our franchisees, has been with Express for almost 14 years. When you look ahead down the road, where do you see yourself in your Express career?
I actually see myself in exactly the same role. I just see myself with a team, that I'm leading, because right now I am a party of one. So just flying solo and handling as much of the marketing as I can myself. But because I am only one person, there's still a lot of marketing things that our offices are still having to take on individually. And so my goal eventually is to just pull marketing out of all the offices, have it be centralized with this marketing team, so that you really are freeing everybody else up to focus on what they want to focus on and what are more core responsibilities to their roles. And then having the marketing team really just take on all these marketing pieces. And, I can definitely see it, ahead in the distance somewhere, whether that's awesome. A team or whether that's even just like one intern, like I would take whatever I could get at this point. But I do foresee the marketing department continuing to grow as we go as a franchise, because even in the time that we've both been here, we've acquired new offices in that time. Like, our franchise has grown so much, and it's really exciting to see where it's going to go.
Agreed.
So to wrap things up, if you had to share your top tip for career development, if you could give your younger self that one piece of really good advice for career development, what would it be?
Well, I think I would partially kind of continue on the path that I did, like just continue to be a versatile employee and just learning as many aspects as you can, because I do agree that I think it's one of the most important things, and just becoming knowledgeable and versatile. But the thing that I would change up is just that self-confidence. Just don't doubt yourself. Just know that if you want to do it, you can do it. And just don't be afraid to speak up and put yourself out there. Because if I would have done that sooner, who knows,
Yeah.
where would I be right now? Who knows? What about you?
That's a really good question. For me, I guess I'm just one of those people that I really love to learn. It doesn't really matter what it is. If it's a new topic I'm interested in learning about, I will do all of the research and just kind of deep dive into it right away.
Yep.
And that definitely pertains to the job too. I think it's really about taking advantage of opportunities that are given to you. And if you have an opportunity to learn something new, take it.
Absolutely.
Learn more about the roles of other people that are in your office, that you can be an asset to the company by helping out with them. If somebody is sick, obviously when COVID happened, we had one person in the office every single day. That was it.
Yep.
And a lot of days that was me. And so I needed to be able to handle whatever kind of things were coming in. And had I not taken the initiative to learn about other roles and how things were done in the office far beyond my job description, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that even, classes that I took in college, like I took a proposal writing class when I was in college, and I was like, I'm just going to take this for my degree. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to use it or anything, but I ended up writing, $1 million proposals for different companies I worked at after college.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I would have taken that class.
Yep.
So I think that it's just about, learning as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my top 5 Gallup strengths, and just try to apply that anywhere in my life, really.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I think that helps just kind of give more appreciation for the different roles and just people in those roles in the office too, and just kind of helps to aid in that team setting.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what people don't understand,
Yeah.
is that it's like how you do your job affects how the next person gets to pick up the ball and how they can run with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, if you learn that how you're doing something is a pain in the butt for the next person that has to take this on after you, you can adjust your side so that it's, easier to do this kind of stuff. So I think that there's a lot to say about like process efficiency and stuff too, just learning how it all connects together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for being here today, Ashley. I loved kind of chatting about our early Express days and hearing where you're going with your career too. It's a really exciting time to be part of Express.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun, and I know both of us are going to be successful down the road, and I look forward to continuing to work with you on everything. And if you guys like what you saw today, or want to see similar content from us in the future, make sure you hit that thumbs up button.
And we'd love it if you subscribe to our video. Let us know that you love what you're seeing on our channel and that you can get notified for our future videos going forward. We'll see you back here next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Central Standard Time. We will be taking these stories and our experiences that we shared, and we'll be translating those into tangible tips, simple steps that you can work on every single day to help you get your career in the Express lane.